Hello, it's nice to have you join us on Nationwide. I'm Ayo Deji Makinde. Please remember that you can follow this news broadcast live on our website, nta.ng/live, and on all our social media platforms displayed on the screen for updates. Economists at a conference in Abuja are suggesting fuel subsidy removal and minimizing the cost of governance as measures government must consider in achieving the projected GDP growth strategy in the 2022-2025 plan. Musa Abubakar reports.
Nigerians have continued to have their say on addressing the challenges affecting the economy. At this conference, achieving the target of the 2022-2025 medium-term expenditure framework is high on the agenda, and chartered economists are particular about exploring alternative sources of revenue, developing local manufacturing, and entrenching fiscal discipline as some of the solutions needed to strengthen the Nigerian economy.
Technically, the major problem in Nigeria is revenue shortage. The country, though endowed with vast resources and potential, still struggles with good revenue base.
People with skill, people with professionals. We need the economists proper to guide the government.
We should get the best of our brains to be presenting papers to the National Assembly for policy making.
The forum called for deployment of the needed economic know-how and technology to turn ideas into action that can turn the fortunes of the country. In Abuja, I am Musa Abubakar, NTA News.
Efforts of the federal government to bring sustainable development to the grassroots seem to be stalled by activities of some political actors. This is the position of the leadership of the Nigerian Union of Local Government Employees, NOLGE, which describes as insensitive the approach of some state governors towards the implementation of local government financial autonomy. Kelvin Samuel reports.
Local governments are created to bring government closer to the people and enable sustainable grassroots development. In Nigeria, the local government reform of 1976 is expected to accelerate development and enable the local population participate and hold those in power accountable in an event of misappropriation of funds. However, these circumstances seem to be facing challenges in the present dispensation of local government administration in Nigeria, as most state governors have refused to allow local governments have their financial autonomy.
If there is local government autonomy, I think this insecurity issue will not be there. Local government find it difficult to do anything. It's a very pathetic situation. If you go to the local government councils, you will not believe that those are called government offices.
And condemn the deliberate attempt to balance the implementation of People Act by various state governments.
In Uyo, Kevin Samuel, NTA News.
Moving on to electoral matters, the legislative election of the Republic of Senegal has commenced with a high turnout of voters. Haman Jabani reports that the casting of the legislative ballot has witnessed a high participation of women.
50-year-old Sigambagu is one of the first voters to be at the Pulu unit as early as 7 a.m. local time to participate in the exercise that is to commence at 8 a.m. He told me that it is a rare opportunity to elect members of the National Assembly, and this is the only way to participate in governance.
All
stakeholders should do their work so that we will have a peaceful election. I'm happy to vote And I pray for peace to reign in Senegal that will bring development and youths will have jobs.
I think it's a duty that every Senegalese should fulfill. So far, it has been cool.
The ECOWAS Observer team, led by the former president of ECOWAS Commission and former Prime Minister of Burkina Faso, while monitoring the election in some polling units, interacted with the electorate, election observers, and other stakeholders. He sums up his impression at this stage of the election.
We noticed that all the voting materials was in place, the officials also, as well as the representatives of the candidates. So far, I think people are proceeding peacefully in an orderly manner, and we are quite satisfied with what we have seen. Women are participating very actively, and in fact there is one polling station where all the voters are women, and we encourage them, and we notice that women are very active. Many of them are head of polling stations, so I think the gender is respected.
The likes of Siga and other millions of Senegalese, the election will be free and fair, and commended ECOWAS for its role towards achieving that. The 15,500 polling units are open from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. local time. From Dakar, Hamman Jabani, NTA News.
With few hours to the closure of the ongoing continuous voters registration exercise, the Independent National Electoral Commission has registered more than 10 million eligible voters during the exercise in the country. The National Commissioner in charge of Kaduna, Nasarawa, Plateau and Federal Capital Territory, Muhammad Haruna, said this while supervising continuous voter registration exercise in Kaduna. Adamu Sunday reports.
The continuous voter registration exercise is ending today as announced by the Independent National Electoral Commission. Large turnout of people to obtain their permanent voter card before the expiration of the exercise is an indication that more eligible voters are becoming aware of their voting power. People with special needs are part of this number.
We have been given special attention. They don't put us in the line, and anyway, anytime we come with people, they try to help them. So on that side, I can say they have tried.
Hectic, but then we thank God. A lot of people are hard here trying to get registered, but the thing is moving smoothly, and we're finding it very interesting.
No, I'm needing to join it now. They don't give me number. I will enter now.
So far, out of the figure announced by the Commission, Kaduna State registered more than 300,000 people.
I'm quite happy with the way things have gone. Of course, we had fears that there will be, congestion, but somehow, of course, the congestion came, but what is important is the way we've been able to meet the challenges that have arisen from there. We've been able to control the crowd, as you can see from here, which is the head office. Things have been very, very orderly, and I'm very happy about that.
The exercise is expected to wind up by 12 midnight. Adamu Sunday, NTA News.
Elsewhere, ongoing voter registration centers in the FCT have continued to witness large turnout of prospective registrants even in the face of the 31st July deadline. A former Ojinta who visited some centers for an update reports that residents are appealing for another extension.
Residents are determined to ensure they exercise their franchise come 2023. They have defied the rains, the cold weather to ensure they beat the INEC 31st July deadline for the suspension of the continuous voter registration exercise. We are here at the Diplomat Park, one of the largest registration center with about 10 IVED machines, but the crowd is unprecedented.
We don't have machines here. There are not enough officers, so we are finding it difficult. We have been here since early morning, since 4 o'clock.
Facilities are not enough. So that this region we will be able to meet our target. There is need for the government to extend this region, even if it is 1 month, please.
Now, in all centers visited, it's been one complaint or the other.
The process is moving smoothly, but the system is slow.
some people will come in from nowhere with their numbers and all of that. So the thing is just upside down.
I think there's a space constraints as well, because people here are here for different things and we all seem to be choked. That could have helped if you had it defined.
The question now is, will there be an extension? Will INEC be able to accommodate or cover the crowd at registration centers before the deadline? Only time will tell. It's been Ifoma Ojinta, NTA News.
And in a swift reaction, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has dismissed the possibility of further extension of continuous voter registration nationwide as the exercise is billed to end today, July 31st, 2022. INEC National Commissioner supervising the exercise in Cross River, Akwa Ibom and Edo States, Professor Rhoda Gomez, said this while supervising the exercise at registration centers in Calabar, urging those who are yet to register to take advantage of the short time in order to get their cards ready for the 2023 general elections. Odwak Etam reports.
The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, had earlier given 30th of June 2022 as deadline for continuous voter registration, after which it extended to accommodate more eligible voters nationwide from 1st July and to end on the 31st July 2022. Countdown to the end of the CVR exercise, large number of people are coming out for registration in Cross River State, as witnessed at various registration centers within the state capital.
Since we are coming out and we are seeing that maybe the process isn't going smooth like we expected, I think the date should be extended a little bit. I think even 1 week or so.
Still call for Nigerians to come out and register, because most people are feeling reluctant to register and they like doing things late. It's not about getting your voter's card. It's about voting your conscience.
In a bid to ensure smooth operations by the Commission, INEC National Commissioner supervising voters registration in Cross River, Akwa Ibom and Edo States visited CVR centers in Calabar to appraise the situation of the exercise.
If at the end of July 31st and you have not been able to register, that is not the end. Yeah. I know that after the election, because we have logistics to take care of, we cannot continue to extend and extend. After registering, we'll print and then people had to come and collect the voters' card.
For those who will not meet the deadline, INEC says the registration exercise will continue after 2023 general elections. In Calabar, Udwak Etam, NTA News.
And as the race for the registration of permanent voter cards continues, the Independent National Electoral Commission is giving assurance that everyone will be registered before the deadline, says INEC Commissioner in charge of Ondo, Ogun and Osun States, Professor Adekunle Ajayi, who monitored the exercise in Akure South, Akure North and Ifedore local government areas of Ondo State. Olushola Komalafe reports.
It is few hours to the July 31st, 2022 deadline for the continuous voters registration exercise, and residents of Akure and environs are still trooping out in their numbers to register.
There are many ways which I have been to so that my voters card have been asked for. So today now, as I come to this place, I should register, and as I register my voters card, I'm happy that anywhere I get to with my voters card.
INEC officials have been cooperative. They've been attending to every single person that has been coming to their office for one issue or the other, and they've all been able to get their registrations done.
The INEC monitoring team expressed satisfaction on the massive turnout of residents.
We are going to attend to everybody. We are having 4 machines here, and all the 4 machines are working effectively well. There is nothing like internet failure or no network. Everything is working on well, and we are going to register minimum 400 people every day. We are going to work on Sunday, even the 12 midnight Sunday, until the last person on the queue is registered. We will not leave.
Now that collection of permanent voters card will continue till next year, 2023. In Akure, Olushola Komalafe, NTA News.
Elsewhere, as Nigerians warm up for the 2023 general elections, civil society groups are yearning for attitudinal change amongst Nigerians to drive good governance for national development. Elizabeth Omori reports.
Youth are seen as the foundation of any society. This is because of their resourcefulness, character, and orientation, which define the pace of development and security of the nation. To this end, civil society groups like the Progressive Movement for a Better Nigeria is equipping youth with requisite knowledge to help harness their potential for national development.
So the role we have to play is as parents to see how we can help our children, learn good ethics, moral values. We already have them, only that is eluding us.
Presentations hinged on reorientation, respect for cultures and religion, as well as tolerance to drive better societies.
When you have a right attitude, that is when you can be able to impact your immediate environment and the society at large. We, as a youth, we can do this. Let us start and make a possible change. That change we want to see.
As the 2023 general elections draw near, they urged the youth to shun electoral violence, thuggery, and remain focused in their quest for a better Nigeria. In Abuja, Elizabeth Omori, NTA News.
Next is our Lagos Network Center, and Hingino is our guide. Good evening, Hingino.
Good evening, Ayodeji, and welcome to Lagos. INEC office and approved centers in Lagos recorded a large turnout of eligible voters on the expiration of the deadline for PVC registration. Annie Daniels, who went round town to monitor the exercise, reports that a cross-section of Nigerians expressed optimism about not being disenfranchised before the 2023 general elections.
Like in other centers, gaining access into the Lagos INEC office wouldn't have been possible without the intervention of few security men on ground.
We are the volunteer team that volunteered ourselves to help the INEC to ensure that things works out.
There are people who slept here, people wrote names since 3 a.m., 1 a.m.
The process has been fine because they have a lot of rooms that they are taking people to register.
Some INEC staff who declined speaking on camera said the crowd is as a result of eligible registrants who were brought from as far as Ojo, Badagry and environs as early as 3 o'clock this morning in a bus to the INEC office here in Yaba for registration.
We were told that registering here, you have the right to choose a location where you can vote. So I don't think it's like before that you can't register. Where you register is where you vote.
We've done 229 fresh registration this morning. So after this one now, they now give me a fresh list of 206. As you can see, 185 again, which will start. And this is another additional one. So it was like this yesterday. It's been like this for the past 2 weeks.
It's better they should still liaise with the government to see whether they will extend it more, because without that they cannot be able to meet up.
Although the exercise is seamless, there is however doubt from both the INEC staff and registrants the possibility of getting everybody here and even in other centers registered today. In Lagos, Annie Daniels, NTA News.
Away from election matters now, 11 Nigerian students from 8 schools who emerged top in the world in June and November 2021 Cambridge examination have again proven that the country's education sector can compete favorably in the global education space. Lynn Leneke, who attended the 4th annual British Council Recognition and Outstanding Cambridge Learners Award, reports that the students were awarded for outstanding performances in single subjects.
That tone indicates that Nigerians are soaring high in making their country proud after the success story in the sporting sector, with a Nigerian beating the record in 100 meters hurdles. These Nigerian students have followed suit in that doggedness by emerging tops in various categories in the 2021 Cambridge examination series.
Well, math has always been one of my favorite subjects, so it always came very easily to me. But
I worked really hard in doing past papers. Exam, it taught me to read, to understand, to read, to internalize what I read. So I guess that helped me as well.
High Achievement Awards were presented to students who came top in Nigeria for single subjects. Special recognition awards were also presented to schools that won environmental project as
being top in the world, being top in Nigeria, students and their parents are happy that our qualifications, our exams are working.
Not just achieving top results in Nigeria, but some of these students achieved top results worldwide.
Stakeholders from the educational sector are optimistic that such collaboration is capable of bridging the gap in the educational sector globally.
Importance of academic rigor. It shows that our children can do well, comparing them to anybody across the whole world. So I think it's a testament to our education sector, and I think it's good. Yes.
21st century skills, critical thinking, team building, leadership, communication, analytical thinking, really important in the world of work. Softer skills to help young people thrive in their futures.
The British Council in Nigeria has over time developed and sustained partnerships based on mutuality. In Lagos, Lane Lenake, NTA News.
Do not forget to follow this news broadcast live on our website at nta.ng/live and on our other social media handles displayed on your screen for updates. Time for a break. The news will be back with Gabriela in Port Harcourt.
Welcome to Port Harcourt Network Center. Now moving on, as the 2023 general election draw closer, prominent states have called for increased awareness towards electing political office seekers with development blueprints.
Unlike the previous elections in Nigeria, the 2023 general elections appear very critical to various stakeholders. Here in Rivers State, why the political office seeker just to rule the electorate, concerned stakeholders are the errors that the populace should also weigh the options before them.
It goes beyond party. You know, if the person does not have integrity, must not vote for him.
For this age leader, Atamuna, human capital development should be given priority beyond fiscal infrastructure.
Developing the human first before the infrastructure, because the infrastructure we are talking about are meant to be used by people.
More public enlightenment proponents for good governance insist needed to properly guide the electorate to make the right choice of leadership in 2023. Key concern to us is manifesto and development blueprint warning against voting along ethnic or religious sentiments in 2023. In Port Harcourt, Kingsley Amchiri, NTA News.
Efforts of the federal government to bring sustainable development to the grassroots seems to be stalled by activities of some political actors. This is a position of the leadership of Nigerian Union Local Government Employees Norge, who describe it as insensitive of some state governors towards the implementation of local government financial
are created to bring government closer to the people and enable society. In Nigeria, the local government reform of 1976 is expected to accelerate development and enable the local population participate and hold those in power accountable in an event of misappropriation funds. However, second facing present of local government administration in Nigeria, as most state governors have refused to allow local governments have their financial autonomy.
It's not We have been unwillingness to pay.
If there is local government autonomy, I think this insecurity issue will not be there. If there is local government autonomy in existence, I think all this issue of poverty, all this issue of social vices will not be there. As it stands now, local government find it difficult to do anything. It's a very pathetic situation. If you go to the local government councils, you will not believe that those are called government offices. You look as if federal government has not been sending money to the local government.
The local government system in Nigeria, according to stakeholders, is being marginalized by some state governments, evident in the implementation of the new minimum wage, where some state governors are yet to implement same for workers, among many other problems of local government administration. In Uyo, Kevin Samuel, NTA News.
And that's our package from Port Harcourt. It's now back to you, Ayodeji.
Thanks so much from our Port Harcourt Network Center. Sincere apologies for the quality of some pictures from that center. Back here, let's tell you that the federal government is boosting efforts at making health care services available to Nigerians irrespective of social status. This has prompted the World Health Organization, the National Health Insurance Authority, to visit the Gariki Hospital, Abuja, to understudy its public-private partnership template. Serafina Okon-Umekwe reports.
The hospital for more than 15 years has been raising the bar when it comes to efficient and effective healthcare delivery services, with more than 2 million patients to its credit. The essence of this gathering with officials of the World Health Organization and the National Health Insurance Authority is to ascertain if its financing operational models are fully implemented at the hospital. The managing director of the hospital, Dr. Adamu On, says they are leveraging on the developmental trends of information communications technology, as they have never embarked on a strike, all with a view to provide excellent services 24 hours without any form of discrimination. He, however, decried the lack of operationalization standards by some HMOs, saying if the Nigerian healthcare system must be excellent, reforms, standardized style through consolidation should be implemented.
We get paid from the HMO. As always, there's some delays that occur from time to time, and there are some denied claims from time to time, but it's an ongoing issue that we discuss with them, we resolve. And the fact that we're still able to see patients shows that the model works, and we've had some successes with it.
Compulsory or automatic participation, and the other is the provision of subsidies, so that it's not right if people are forced to pay but they're too poor to pay, right?
The World Health Organization official Joseph Kutse says, despite the global economic inflation, the federal government must make conscious efforts to fund the Nigerian healthcare in the budget and have it implemented to enable the vulnerable populace have access to affordable healthcare. In Abuja, Serafina Okon-Umekwe, NTA News.
In a related development, the Nigerian Association of Resident Doctors has commended the federal government for the upward review of the commensurate medical residency training fund examination and other fees by the National Postgraduate Medical College of Nigeria. This is coming at the end of a 5-day meeting of the National Executive Council of the association in Lafia, Nasarawa State. Bilkesu Umar reports.
The 5-day meeting, which has a theme, Medical Workplace Hazards Defending a Nation Under a Shade of Arrows, deliberated on hazards that medical professionals undertake daily on the line of duty to save lives. In a communique after the meeting, the resident doctors commended state governments that have domesticated the Medical Residency Training Act, as it appeals to the federal government and other key players to mandate states that are yet to adopt the act to do so.
The NEC observed with dismay the unnecessary delay in the implementation and payment of the new hazard allowance for all health workers.
The association also frowned at the level in which patients' relations molest health workers, as well as arrears of salaries and allowances of its members in some states up to 10 months. Other issues raised in the communique include shortage of manpower in many health facilities, non-payment of agreed allowances by the federal and state governments, and the need to curtail brain drain, which is plaguing the nation like wildfire. Meanwhile, Governor Abdullahi Sule of Nasarawa State assures the resident doctors that the state government will not leave anything to chance to ensure they are well motivated for quality service delivery. In Lafia, Bilkisu Umar Gurku, NTA News.
The Nigeria Communications Commission has organized a town hall meeting with customers in Ibadan, Oyo State, aimed at enhancing service delivery. Ifeoluwa Omosule was there and now reports.
The town hall meeting organized was an avenue to dialogue with representatives of some youth, women and men groups as they noted that roles telecommunication play in the socio-economic development of the nation are numerous, and challenges such as vandalization of the telecommunication equipment and disruption of telecommunication activities will affect service delivery negatively.
It is impossible for the security agencies to be at every site where you have telecom infrastructure. So we need the cooperation of members of the public.
It's just part of one of the things that we do to bring to the attention of our stakeholders the various thematic issues that we are having in the industry.
If we are not doing anything about the breaking into this equipment, we are going to be affected at the long run.
Remember the time the service providers came into existence. We spent a lot of money. When you want to get line, it's problem. When you want to buy handset, it's problem. But with the advent of the NCC, we are able to enjoy what we have.
The meeting, which is the third edition, afforded the network consumers the opportunity to lodge their complaints, and representatives of the network providers were available to attend to them. In Ibadan, Ifeoluwa Omosule, NTA News.
It's time to cross over to our Sokoto Network Center, and Nana Aisha will be our guide on Nationwide. Good evening, Nana Aisha. It's over to you.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Ayo. The efforts of the Sokoto state government and other relevant stakeholders in education sector to improve school enrollment is recording success. To further strengthen the drive, instructional materials were distributed to schools under the basic education in the 23 local government areas of the state. Alhat Abdullahi has the report.
The negative indices in schools enrollment and the high number of out-of-school children compelled Sokoto state government to make basic education compulsory in the state. Started about 4 years ago, the MOP program has 5,213 non-formal learning centers, 76 post-literacy skills acquisition centers with over 76,400 pupils, 1,777 volunteer teachers, proprietors and facilitators. These centers are under the Better Education Service Delivery for All project, BESDA, including intensive learning program initiated in 8 local government areas. In addition, there are 302 junior secondary schools and 2,092 primary schools with thousands of pupils and students. Flagging of the distribution of the instructional materials to the educational centers, Governor Aminu Waziri Tambol said government had settled all its counterpart funds with UBEC and all other development partners. He added that government is paying attention to teachers' welfare and infrastructure.
I appeal to our education secretaries and education administrators to be very, very disciplined in the distribution of these materials and utilization of the materials.
Commissioner for Basic and Secondary Education Bella Abubakar Gwiwa said the instructional materials were jointly provided by the state government, BESDA and UNICEF. Representative of the Sultan, Professor Sambo Ali Junaid, called for more funding of the education sector. The executive chairman of SUBEB, Altine Shehu Kajiji, extolled the commitment of the state government and the development partners towards reducing out-of-school children. The instructional materials include school uniforms, exercise and textbooks, schools registers, diaries, scheme of work, chalk, and desktop computers, among others. In Sokoto, Dalat Abdullahi, NTA News.
Zamfara state government is taking decisive steps towards addressing issues impeding the transition of girls from primary school to higher levels of education in the state. To this end, a 24-man committee has been inaugurated to work closely with relevant stakeholders for the actualization of the set goals. Jamil Ibrahim has more.
Zamfara is still among the states of the Federation with the lowest number of girls transition from primary to secondary schools and beyond. This informed a collaboration between Zamfara state government and the UNICEF to GMO efforts in addressing the problem in view of its monumental negative impact on the socio-economic development of the state. The formation of a 24-man committee tagged Adolescent Girls Transition Champion with the practical step obviously taken towards the success of the collaboration. Executive Chairman Zamfara State Universal Basic Education Board Abubakar Ali Maradun, who inaugurated the committee, reiterated the state government's commitment to ensuring the success of the struggle.
And I'm happy from the competition. The type of people I see, I'm sure they are going to perform well. And we at the board will give them support and ensure that they work perfectly.
The event also provided a forum for discussion amongst the stakeholders on issues related to girl-child education in the state, during which a number of recommendations were offered by the participants on how to address the prevailing challenges. Subcommittees are built to be inaugurated at the local government and community levels for maximum impact of the sensitization exercise. In Gusau, Jamilu Ibrahim, NTA News.
Those are contributions from Sokoto here, where Nationwide continues with Ayodeji in Abuja after this commercial break. Thank you.
You're welcome back. The federal government is to engage all relevant stakeholders in the fight against hunger, joblessness and poverty in the country, with the ministers of agriculture and water resources saying women have significant roles to play in food production. Details with Musa Aliyu.
This is a conference put together by a non-governmental organization in partnership with the Federal Ministry of Agriculture. It is all about agriculture, but the focus is on women's participation in food production value chain.
The objective of this conference are to
Aisha Babangida, the daughter of the Nigeria's former military president, is among the key organizers of the conference.
We will make significant investments to unlock viable solutions to our agricultural sector by working strategically with intelligence and innovation.
Ministers of Agriculture and that of Water Resources said the federal government recognized the role women have been playing in the nation's food security project. They, however, identified some of the challenges confronting them, saying efforts to assist them is underway.
And with agri, you can achieve so much more than just food security. You can have energy security, job security, wealth creation, alleviation of poverty, and security.
But at the end of the day, it's not just an intellectual conversation, but it will go down to the grassroots so that it can support our women, inform them, educate them about all the opportunities that are there around the world for people to really make a good life out of agriculture and food production.
Issues relating to planting, processing and marketing as they relate to women empowerment were discussed at the conference. Musa Aliyu, NTA News.
Two non-governmental organizations are opening the economic windows of wealth creation through simple waste management and livestock production methods to women and girls across Nigeria by providing training in waste recycling and livestock production for self-reliance. Joseph Otsen interviewed some of the trainees in Gariki 2, Abuja, and now reports.
11-years-old Esther Oluwa Timilin and other women enthusiastic to hold on to the knowledge and skills on recycling waste materials into finished valuable goods and improving poultry feed use their handsets to record every step for keeps.
All these fabrics that are not useful again to them, you can gather them up and make this beautiful bottle that you can see, these beautiful pencils as you can see. Now you can ensure that your pencils, all your other stuff, you can also use it as a makeup purse.
They teach us how to train the chicken.
Less costly because
We use things like aloe vera, bitter leaf. They grow all over the place. Moringa leaf to treat our chicken, our birds, and it prevents flu and all that.
Whoever is partaking in this training is also supporting the climate change movement. Now, the trainings we've brought here, some examples are converting tires, old and worn-out used tires, into either chairs or tables.
The empowerment program is put together by Dynamic Ladies Foundation in collaboration with Soul Agronomy's Training Foundation, targeting about 500 women and girls in each of the 36 states in Nigeria.
Every woman has the right to be self-sufficient and to have financial freedom.
Get people what they have learned. We empower them on little things for them to, produce in mass and sell this trade first.
After weeks of training, each of these 50 beneficiaries from Garki Area Council is to be presented with a starter pack. In Abuja, Joseph Otsen, NTA News.
As the rainy season progresses, there is fear in residential areas and farming communities in Jigawa State over the possible flooding that is already rearing ugly head. Muhammad Askira in Dulce examines the situation so far and measures put in place to mitigate the flood.
In the Nigerian Meteorological Agency's seasonal climate prediction report released in 2022, Jigawa State is predicted to experience shorter rainy season and possible flood. So far, that prediction is coming to reality. Several communities in parts of the state have been affected by heavy downpour and windstorm, leaving farmlands submerged and houses destroyed. Also affected are critical infrastructure as the water flood cut off a bridge linking Kano, Jigawa and other northeastern states on the Kano-Maiduguri highway.
Most of the people also are responsible for this flooding along the banks of the river, because you see people cutting part of the river so that when the water comes, it will just flush to their farms and the farm. And at the end of it, when the water is high, when the table of the water is high, the water flood the farms and houses and villages along the banks.
However, having learned its lesson from the past experience, Jigawa State government has been up and doing in ensuring that the impact of the flood is mitigated in all its ramifications. To ensure this is done, the state government is deploying financial resources it secured from the federal government's ecological fund for the execution of some projects aimed at addressing ecological challenges in the state.
And our own has accumulated to a certain level. I think that of the state was about 1 billion and that of the local government about 800 million, something like that. The governor has given a clear instruction to all the local governments now. Now they should make sure that all the gutters are desilted completely.
On their part, communities are mobilizing themselves for communal efforts to open up blocked waterways.
We will advise those building on water channels to avoid building on water channels. Drainages should be cleared. Refuse should not be dumped in the waterways.
In Dute, Muhammad Askira, NTA News.
Tramadol capsules worth more than 1,375 million naira have been intercepted at the Apapa seaport in Lagos. The 1,650 kilograms of banned substance intercepted by operatives of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency was packed in 55 cartons of tapentadol. Various psychoactive substances were also stopped from leaving the country for London and Dubai through the Lagos airport last week, and 5 suspects have been arrested in connection with the organized crime. Similarly, more than 186 kilograms of illicit substances have been cut off in FCT, Adamawa, Kebbi, Kwara and Kano states, with arrests of 58 suspects arrested believed to be drug dealers. Cannabis sativa, codeine, tramadol and diazepam formed part of the items recovered from the suspects. The national chairman of Jibwis, Sheikh Abdullahi Balalal, says prioritizing and investing in Quranic knowledge is key in building a morally upright and patriotic society. This was at the 3rd Quranic Memorization Graduation Walima of FCT Jibwis, Islamic Learning Center and School for Quranic Memorization in Abuja. Abdullahi Ajia reports.
It was a date with history and a moment of breakthrough for 35 young Quran memorizers, 26 females and 9 males, who were certified worthy of completing the memorization of the glorious Quran. In the presence of their parents, guardians and guests, the graduates were tested on the acts of recitation to the delight of judges and the audience.
If child has Quranic knowledge, he will guide him and they have more optimism and be more dedicated and organized.
The atmosphere created a feeling of fulfillment in line with Allah's injunction upon mankind to seek knowledge beneficial in this life and the hereafter.
This is our contribution toward ensuring peace, harmony, tranquility will continue to reign in Nigeria. This time around is the time whereby each and every one of us need this country, our country first.
Seek the knowledge of your Creator. When you have acquired the knowledge, you will use it.
Overwhelmed with joy, the graduates say the knowledge acquired will inspire them to worship and fear Allah in their endeavors.
It's the best thing to have in this life.
Certificates and prizes were presented to the graduates for their exceptional courage. Abdullah Hajia, NTA News.
And next is sports updates. That's nationwide. We thank you for watching. I'm Ayo Deji Makinde. Please remember to connect with the NTA and stand against rape and rapists. On behalf of the entire production crew, good evening.